Hi guys, it's the 18th month of Promptsquad, so we're a year and a half into this series, which is just crazy to think about. We've got a lot of our OGs coming back this month, but we've also got some new members too, so I hope you're going to stick with us and see all of the wonderful art that got created for this month's prompt. And onto that, this month's prompt was the word bubbles, or any variant of that, like bubbling or bubbly, anything like that, and just interpreting that and seeing what you make from it. And it's really cool because everyone kind of took it a very different way this month, so it's a really interesting one to see, and I can't wait to show you all. I'm going to start with what I did though, and yeah, I kind of ummed and ahed a lot before doing this painting. I did have an idea early on of what I wanted to do, but I just really wasn't sure how I exactly wanted it to look, so I kind of went into it a bit blind and kind of, winged it from there. And though, to be honest, there's not much that I really like about this painting, if I'm being honest. I don't think really that's the worst way of going into a new painting, especially if you're not that sure where you're going. Because I think sometimes learning from these types of mistakes is often, some of the more memorable things about a bad piece of art. Anyway, so basically my idea was, I had this teddy when I was growing up, and it's a cat that's called Bubbles. And I knew I wanted to paint something inspired by that teddy. I'll try and put up a picture or a video somewhere on screen of it. It's basically 25 years old now, when I think about it. It's looking a little bit scraggy, give it a bit of forgiveness for being so old, but I loved this teddy so much as a kid, and I knew I wanted to draw something with it. And yeah, knowing I wanted to do that, I also really wanted to do a night scene. And that was for two reasons. For one, I really wanted to practice night scenes because it's something I really love to see, but I know I'm not very good at. And also, because the cat is black and white, I think anything with darker colours at night is really hard to depict, so I was interested in practicing that too. So yeah, I put all these ideas together and I was just kind of randomly sketching and trying to come up with an idea, and it kind of brought me to this little story of maybe a cat, or like a cat version of the teddy, finding or maybe protecting this child. Or maybe it is that it's been brought to life, I don't know, I'm kind of like opening it up for interpretation like I usually do. But if you have an interpretation of it or a story that kind of comes to your mind when you see it, I would love to hear it down in the comments. That's always some of my favourite things to hear when you can do a broader illustration like this. And yeah, it was interesting to paint this one. To be honest, it's kind of a good example of what I do love about digital painting compared to traditional. The ability to mess around with the layout after you've already started, or taking away things or adding things and not having to like destroy the canvas because you've thought of it. And just, yeah, I think it's one of the best things about it that you can edit as you go. And it's a lot less stressful for that too. So I think it's definitely one of the highlights of especially this process where you're not so sure of what you're doing and you're kind of playing as you go. I'm really struggling with night scenes though, just off this. The lighting in night scenes is so complex. I think it shows up my lacking of understanding of it, to be honest. And I know I'm very lucky here to have so many different artists and so many people who watch this. So I want to ask you guys, are there any artists that you like who do specifically night paintings, or even just a specific piece of art that shows a night illustration? If you have any recommendations or any thoughts about this, I would love to hear it. And I think it would just be good to have that kind of conversation here with so many artists of how do you handle night scenes, and what do you know, or what have you learned through your process of doing them? I would really love to hear it. But being more on a positive note as well on this, I did like doing the cute little like teddy characters in the background. I tried to add a lot of little winks to previous Promptsquad art that we've done like over the last year and a bit, of like the caterpillar for the red one, or the pig in the drawing this style that we did. I was trying to like do a little wink towards those, so I hope you enjoyed them. And yeah, it's funny, kind of like wrapping up on this. Whenever I talk about these, I guess, perceived negatives in doing paintings, I'm always worried that I sound like really dreary and like down on it and that I hated it or something. Yeah, or that I'm pandering for compliments, which is even worse. But honestly, I think that these are the paints that I kind of enjoy the most, or that stick with me the most. Because even if there aren't loads of things that I love about it or how it looks, I think that these are the ones that I learn the most from and that like I reflect the most on. And I think that can be personally some of my favourite things about art. So I hope you know that when I do talk about the negatives of it, it's not me like being negative. It's more like, this is what I think of this is how I analyse it. And I think it can be interesting to talk about that, especially if you're interested in art too. I like to hear it, so hopefully you found it interesting too. I think this was a really good prompt for everyone, because there's such a range of art that we've found and seen here that have all just come from one word. It's really interesting to see the range of styles and mediums everyone went with for this one word. And I start with Troy. Troy painted this beautiful clownfish for the prompt. It's got this great like softness to it, whilst also using really strong, vibrant colours. And I think that's just a great use of the medium. It works very well for the subject matter that he's showing, and I do love the composition as well, how it all flows and moves. With the curls of the anemone, they're all drawing your eye across this painting like the sea and a flow of water. I just think it's very smooth and a really wonderful piece. Zakura created this gorgeous illustration that I just can't stop staring at. The colour palette is it's just beautiful. I want to say it's like a muted pastel kind of colour, but the way that she's blended these colours, it gives me this like Monet vibe. Like they're all merging and bringing together, and you know, if you blur your eyes, it all becomes this like composite colour. It's really beautiful. And yeah, I think it's a wonderful piece. I think she's captured it really well. And I like the fact that there's a realism to the character, but you still see Sakura's style shining through it too. Yeah, I'm just really glad you were able to do the prompt, Sakura. It looks amazing. Polly is a new member of the squad this month, so I hope you'll give her a warm welcome. She created this fantastic animation here, and I can't believe I'm saying the word animation for a Promptsquad thing. It's insane. But the movement that she's done is so smooth, and I love the pop of the bubbles as they move across. I can't imagine how much time this must have taken, and just the skill and the hard work behind it, but you know, thank you very much, Polly, for doing this. It looks amazing, and I'm so impressed by it, so thank you. We also have Carter as another new Promptsquad member, so again, make sure to say hello to him. And he made this wonderful piece using ink, and it's very vibrant, and I like his cheeky characters as well, how they all kind of match each other. The illustration is really sharp and clean too. It's all very like bright and sharp. To be honest, if I hadn't noticed that it was on paper, I think I probably would have thought this would be digital. So I like that. I think it's very cool to see that it can be that clean and that sharp. Dave painted this lovely bubblegum pop like digitally, and kind of the reverse of Carter. He's used so many textures. I think you could have thought that this was hand painted. I love how he achieved that opacity so that you can see through the bubble and see the shocked face behind it. It's kind of like this captured instant in time, and you have this feeling again that it's moving even if it isn't. I think we need to bring Polly and Dave together so they can start making some animations. I know he's done it in the past, but you know, hint hint hint. Halumpa, another lovely member, created this beautifully detailed illustration for this prompt. It's definitely one of those where you kind of stop and pull back and just fall into telling your own story as you see it, because there's so many different types of details and just so much going on and bright colours all working together. I think it's really cool. And I like how dreamy it feels. It's kind of like very relaxing to look at. And yeah, I really enjoy it. Tara created another gorgeous watercolour illustration for this prompt, and It's just as lovely as last month's. The young girl character is really cute, and I love how they've let these watercolours bleed out and fade with water, but it's also very clean and controlled. Like, it doesn't mess up. Like, she's kept it extremely clean with watercolours, which is so hard to do, and it's beautiful to see though. And I think especially, I really like how they've illustrated the plants and the trees. I think there's a great style to that I really enjoy. Lisbeth created 2 fantastic foxy pieces this month, and they both feature this lovely style that she has, but also the 2 of them kind of come together as telling this continuous story with these characters. They're this family on their summer holidays, and they're keeping it in their bubble though, as you have to, I guess, this year to keep safe. And I just love this fact that you can follow the story between the pieces of work. And I also really enjoy, especially in the first one, that swish of paint that she's overlaid on her illustration. Because, yeah, it gives this effect of movement as if they're coming out. But also, it's this just beautiful element to the painting. Like, it reminds me of a rose in a lot of ways, and I just really like that. Far Photos also worked extra hard this month and created 2 lovely pieces for the prompt. I really love the bright colours and these extra soft painting styles. It kind of gives this abstract feel to the painting, but I really like those bright colours too. It kind of makes me think of Graham Sutherland and stuff like that. It's very cool. And yeah, seeing them together, it just makes me feel very creative and inspired. I think that she's got some very creative and inspirational parts of her style. It always makes me excited to paint when I see her work, so I really enjoyed her work this month. And finally, we're ending with one of the OGs. It's Emily, and she created this super cute Nemo inspired illustration with a not too happy angelfish I can't remember the name of. I love the sketching layers that have been kept into the art. That always reminds me of that kind of animation stills that you see the Disney original pieces of art have, where you can just see the thoughts of that animator and that artist just still within the work. I really love to see that, and yeah, I love that she kept it in. It looks beautiful. I also really like the fact the art spills out of the frame too. Again, it feels like a reference to them breaking out of the tank, so I think that's a very clever use of the composition. And that's all the wonderful art from our members of Promptsquad this month. I'm so happy that you all joined us, and I can't thank you all enough, to be honest, for how much hard work that you've all put in. You know, bringing them all together in these monthly videos. I know I can be a bit slow doing it, but I do really enjoy doing it, and it just always makes me happy to see all of this work and just everyone's art progressing every month. It's really cool. And again, I hope you'll all welcome the newest members that we've had. I think it's really good that the community is growing even more, and just that we get to find even more artists to chat to and to progress with as the time goes by. And if you have watched this far and you fancy joining in next month's Promptsquad, please don't hesitate to do so. Our next month's prompt is going to be tell a story. So all you have to do is just create a piece of art inspired by that prompt. Maybe a painting, maybe an animation at this point, maybe a sculpture, whatever you like to do. Just go and do it. I thought with all our illustrators here, it'd be interesting to hear and see what they do if they went and told a story, just any story that they wanted. So I'm really excited to see that they're just wonderful stories that I think you'll all come up with next month. I think it's going to be really interesting, and I really hope you'll all enjoy doing it. The deadline's going to be the 18th of August, so hopefully there's going to be enough time to think of something good and get something done. So I'm telling myself that, but yeah, hopefully we'll have enough time. If you'd like to suggest a future prompt, just comment it below or message us anywhere. If you tag your work with #Promptsquad, I should be able to find it, but also don't worry about messaging me here or Instagram. You know, it makes my life easier, and hopefully we'll get to feature it by next month's video. I really hope you all enjoyed the prompt in this month's video, and if you do decide to join in, make sure to hashtag your work, make sure to message me, and I can't wait to see it. I hope you're all staying safe and well. Take care of yourselves, and I'll chat to you all soon. Bye.